Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and this is my performance review of the Adidas Dame Certified. So Damian Lillard finally got a budget shoe, which is weird because his signature shoe line was already very cheap. And shout out to Damian Lillard for keeping his signature shoe line very cheap. That's something that he always wanted to do for the fans. So I mean, it's always around like it was like 110 bucks and now it's like 120 bucks, still pretty damn cheap. But the Dame Certified is actually going for 95 bucks. There are a good amount of colorways available and some of them are actually pretty damn sick. So if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones. In this color we have a solid white rubber outsole and it's like a wavy herringbone traction pattern. We have some flex screws, right? You got one here in the forefoot and like one here in the heel. I don't know why you would need a flex groove in the heel, but there is. And then here in the middle of the outsole, we have Damian Lillard's logo, right? So as far as the traction goes, holy crap, guys, it's amazing. It has an amazing bite. And if you're playing on a clean court, you're gonna be good to go, right? So you don't have to break it in. It's pretty much good right out the box. And yeah, if you're playing on a clean court, you have an amazing bite. You stop pretty much on a dime, and also on dust it picks up pretty minimal dust, and if it does pick up dust, it's a very easy wipe as well. So it has very good performance on dust as well, which I liked a lot. And also if you're playing on an outdoor court, you should be fine. I mean, like, the grooves are like on the thicker side of things. There are some parts where it's a little bit thinner, but the rubber is quite hard and the grooves are pretty deep. So I feel like outdoor use should be fine here in the Dame Certified as well. So the traction is actually top tier. I was very surprised and I really like this shoe because of the amazing traction performance. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, overall it's pretty damn smooth, right? So here in the heel we have a nice rounded shape and fully exposed bounce midsole, which feels nice because there's a nice bounce from the actual bounce midsole. And then here in the forefoot we have a nicer rounded shape, and then we have a good amount of forefoot flex. It doesn't really flex here in the midfoot because there's probably a midfoot chain plate, right? Just like a small plastic piece probably. So overall heel to toe transition when you're doing heel dominant strides down the court is very smooth. I really liked it. And now moving on to the cushioning setup, overall it's nice. I would say it's more of a responsive cushioning setup. So if you want something not too crazy, but with a little bit of compression, this is a great option, right? So like I mentioned before, we have full length bounce for the midsole. And we have pretty good compression here in the heel, like just a tiny bit. It's very subtle. And then when you get going, you do feel a little bit of bounce as well. Nothing crazy like React or Boom or obviously Zoom, but it's a nice little subtle bounce, you know? So nothing too crazy. And then here in the forefoot, it gets a little bit more dead. And also, if you look at the insole's pretty trash. It's a regular Adidas like paper stock insole, and then the strobe board is quite stiff, so stepping comfort isn't that great. But overall, I mean, you're low to the ground and impact protection is adequate, you know, not the best but not terrible. You got a little bit of compression and nice subtle bounce in the heel. So personally for me, I liked it because I like to have a responsive cushioning setup a good amount of the time. It reminds me a little bit of the Curry's, you know, with the flow outsole, but with a little bit more compression and a little bit more bounce, which of course is not a bad thing. But if you're looking for something like crazy or like a good cushioning setup with like a lot of compression or something super soft or something super bouncy, then this is not a great option, right? Now moving on to the material. So this is a $95 shoe, so the materials that are used in the upper are obviously quite cheap, right? But honestly, it's not that bad, right? So once you break it in, it's on like the thinner side of things, but it does still feel pretty supportive, you know? There's pretty much zero stretch to it, and it's like a textile mesh material right here in the toe box. And then like the synthetic panels are very cheap, right? But I guess it's good. It's there for like support. So honestly, it feels pretty nice on foot, and once you break it in, it does get softer. And then for the tongue, we have an average amount of padding, and it is a half booty construction tongue. And then here in the ankle area, we have an average amount of padding as well. So it feels pretty nice and cozy, nothing crazy like, you know, the Kyrie Infinity or anything like that, but it does feel pretty nice here in the back of the shoe. So overall, I mean, for 95 bucks, it does get the job done. And like I said, it does feel nice on foot. But if you're looking for nice quality materials, then this is obviously not a great option. All right, moving on to the fit, I went true to size and it fits me pretty damn well, right? So my toes go very close to the edge of the shoe. So true to size was good for me. And then here in the toe box, we have a snug fit. It's not super tight, but also not super roomy. So I really like how there's pretty minimal toe space here in the toe box for me personally. And then for the width, I would say it's around normal to slightly narrow. So overall, fit for me was very, very good. And if you have a normal size foot and you want a pretty snug fit, then this is a great option and you should go true to size. If you have a wide foot or you want a roomier fit, then probably go up half a size, right? Now moving on to the support and lockdown, I had zero issues, right? So here in the forefoot on the lateral side, we have the foam coming up. We can see the bounce midsole coming up, acting as a sidewall, and the synthetic piece, right? So overall, it does stiffen up this mesh material. So it does feel very supportive here in the forefoot, and then here in the heel, the foam comes up and there is an internal TPU heel counter, it feels like. So lateral containment, I was good to go. And then for lateral stability, I was good to go as well. You know, there's nothing crazy as far as like an outrigger goes, like something sharp and protruding out like from the outsole, but the midsole does protrude out a little bit and you're low to the ground. It's overall a pretty wide base, so lateral stability was good for me too. And also lockdown was very good. I didn't really experience any heel slippage, and my foot felt locked into the shoe once I tightened up the laces. So overall, support and lockdown was very good for me. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. If I remember correctly, it's around average, right? So bounce is actually a pretty high density foam, meaning like, you know, the actual midsole does add a lot to the overall weight of the shoe, right? So I'm guessing like 13 ounces, 12, 13 ounces, 12.8 ounces. And let's check the other shoe. 12.66 ounces, so just a tiny bit heavier than average. And yeah, it feels very, very nice on foot. Like I said, like there's nothing bulky about the shoe at all. The overall upper feels pretty minimal. I would say the shoe is overall a little bottom heavy, but nothing that I hated. And it's a very, very responsive shoe, right? You're low to the ground, it's a responsive cushioning setup, and the traction is so damn good. Support was great, so my foot was, you know, locked into the shoe. So yeah, I felt really, really quick when I was playing it, and I really enjoyed it because of that. And moving on to the ventilation. Ventilation is all right. So as far as airflow goes, there's not a whole lot of airflow, even though it does look pretty well ventilated. There is an underlaying material underneath this, right? So there's not a whole lot of airflow, and the overall ventilation of the shoe is like around average, not too hot and not too cool, right? And now moving on to the aesthetics, I like it. Honestly, the placement of the Adidas 3 stripes logo here in the heel looks great. You know, overall, it's a very simple design, and I like how it looks on foot. It does look a little bit cheap though, but of course that's because it is a cheap shoe. But also I do like this colorway. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, this is a top tier performer, especially for a budget shoe. And I was very, very surprised because honestly, I wasn't expecting all too much from the Dame Certified. I was like, you know, the Dame line hasn't been amazing, you know, like the Dame 8, the Dame 7. I mean, the Dame 7 was pretty nice, but the 8 was you know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely like the budget shoe over the signature shoe right now, just in my personal opinion, and it's going for a very good price, 95 bucks. So it is a budget shoe and you're getting a very good performance for 95 bucks. And in my personal opinion, it's probably like top 10, top 15 performing basketball shoes right now that you can get. And also it'll be in my like top 10, top 5 performers for like budget shoes, right? That's how much I like playing in the shoe. So it's just a great low top, pretty minimal feeling shoe that feels very responsive, that I can feel very quick in with amazing traction, right? So if you're a guard, I feel like you'd enjoy it, and I would suggest that you get this shoe. If you're a bigger dude, you should be fine with the shoe as well. The support's great and all that, but if you're looking for cushion, like a lot of impact protection and stuff like that, this probably isn't the best option, but you could probably make it work. So I feel like most people will enjoy it. You know, whatever play style you have, whatever position you play, I feel like this will be a very good overall shoe for you guys. But anyways, that about concludes my review of the Adidas Dame Certified. Again, if you guys do want to cop it, try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.